In this video, I will be showing you how to replace worn-out thumbsticks on an old model DualShock 4 controller for the Sony PlayStation 4. If you're not sure which version of the controller you have, an easy way to identify it is to power it on and take a look at the touchpad. If the top of it is dark with no colored light coming in from the light bar, you have an old model DualShock 4. If you are seeing the extended light bar at the top of the touchpad and need to know how to repair a newer model DualShock 4, please click the prompt on the screen to refer to that video. For this repair, I'll be using a Phillips 000 screwdriver, a safe open pry tool, and of course, a new thumbstick for the controller. You can find these items at various places on the internet for just a couple of bucks each. Getting started, we're going to remove the 4 screws from the back panel. If it's been a long time since your controller's been opened up, you might notice the seams feel pretty tight and the controller doesn't want to come apart. This is where a safe open pry tool can really come in handy, as you can carefully get between the seams and slowly work the controller open without damaging the casing. Once you've broken the seal, work the controller open at the bottom handles, then at the top, carefully pressing the back trigger buttons down and moving the top rings of the back panel over them. As you slowly separate the back panel from the front housing, be careful the attached ribbon cable doesn't yank out of the connecting port. Carefully pull the cable out of the port with your fingertips and set the back panel aside. Disconnect the battery by removing the cable from the port. Remove the screw holding the motherboard in place. Carefully remove the battery tray from the circuit board. Using your thumbnail, lift the locking clip to free up the ribbon cable, then carefully disconnect the cable. Raise the motherboard and turn it over, and you can now access the thumbsticks. Remove the damaged thumbstick by pulling up on it as you hold the motherboard in place. Using your new thumbstick, carefully align the port on the bottom of the thumbstick with the stick on the motherboard and push the thumbstick down until you feel it tighten in place. Once secure, turn the motherboard back over and slowly feed the thumbsticks through the holes in the front housing. Reconnect the ribbon cable to the port and push the locking clip back down. Replace the battery tray, aligning the tray pegs with the openings in the board, and gently press down until it's firmly in place. Put the security screw back in the motherboard and screw it back in place, being careful not to over-tighten. Reconnect the battery cable and place the battery back in the tray. Reconnect the ribbon cable from the light bar to the port just under the left trigger buttons, with the gold tips of the cable facing the battery. Slide the top rings of the back panel over the rear trigger buttons, and apply a small amount of pressure to the handles to align the backing with the interior columns of the front housing. Then carefully press the controller back together, aligning any remaining areas that are still showing space between the front and back panels. Finally, replace the 4 screws on the back panel and the repair is complete. Power on the controller, give it a quick test, and you're good to go. Thanks very much for watching, and happy gaming.